It's Saturday the 19th, heading off now. It's about 8 AM, heading down towards Morgan. We'll probably camp tonight across from the winery, Murdo Winery, I think it is, Cordo Winery it is, which is about 30 odd k's down. That'll give us 30 odd k's for the next day to get into Morgan. So far it's a nice day, nice river.
Yeah, Crusher
no
1
wind.
set up on 638.
Cruising down there. There's Brian on the starboard side passing us to take over the lead. He's turned to lead today. We took him a bit earlier, but he's caught us up. There's a lock about 20 kilometres down. We'll get there a little bit before 11 o'clock. They close at 11:30 and don't open until 1, so we certainly want to get there before 11:30, otherwise we've got to hang around for a while. We'll probably go about 10 k's past that lock to Cordo Winery. May stop there for lunch, but it being a Saturday it could be too busy, so we may give it a miss. See what it's like when we get down there. An old derelict barge there. I think it says the PS Gilly May, I think it is. It's been a bit while since it's been a paddle steamer. This is the first cliff edge we've encountered, just out of Wakery. No doubt there'll be many more, as there are in South Australia. Houseboat up in the corner here. There's Ryan passing on the starboard side. There's Susan taking a video of me, taking a video of her. Brian's turned to lead today. We took him a bit earlier than him, so he's just passing us now to take the lead. The little tender seems to tow okay behind there. Going very well. Probably about 8. We're doing about 8 kilometres an hour. He's probably doing slightly more than us. Susan's still out on the back deck. Captain Brian driving. We're just getting a bit wider coming down here. Geese on the water there. Very interesting watercraft, this one. Not sure what it is. We're about 15 minutes away from the lock. I've taped the GoPro to the windscreen. I'm going to attempt to video us going through the lock. See how I go with that. There's Brian up ahead. There's a straight bit of river here, and it's known as the Woodcutter Reach. I assume that refers to the woodcutters for the paddle steamers. Up ahead here on this cliff edge is Ranko Point pump station, and on the left of that looks like we've got another one of these salinity sensors as well. Once we get around this corner we'll be going into Penn's Reach. We're just entering Penn's Reach now. It's a nice straight stretch of river, quite wide. The current's slowing down a little bit now. Got 6 metres of water underneath me, so it's pretty deep and pretty wide. Slower moving. We're only doing about 7.5 k's an hour now. It's dropped about over half a kilometre an hour because of current levels. Wake boat, you can see how the rock affects the camera. Yeah, I can see him. Can't go too far over. I'm in 1.2 metres here. Go further over, we'll ground ourselves. Just entering a lock now. See how we go. This is lock number 2. That's how you get into a lock, and this is how you get out of a lock. The lock fell by 2 metres today, normally a bit more, but they're holding the water back in the lower pondage here. Only one more lock to go now at Blanchetown, some way away now. Pretty uneventful lock, this one. Very calm day, much harder on a windy day. Winery up ahead. Looks pretty crowded. We're going to camp on the beach on the other side of the river. Brian's just moving in there now. We haven't come to the beach yet, it's just around the corner. Yes, the winery looks very crowded. I think we'll just give it a miss this time. Okay, we got to the beach, just past Corday's Winery, which is very busy and very loud. So a little bit too busy for us to go. So we'll just have lunch on the beach here and we'll stay here for the night. Then down to Morgan in the morning. A lazy 4 hours travel tomorrow. Looks like we're sharing this beach with some speedboats, but anyway, not too bad. And here's Corday's Winery over there. Quite crowded. Most people went there by car by the look. It's Sunday, the 20th of March, about 7:45 in the morning. We're heading off about 8 o'clock, going down to Morgan. Should be an easy trip down there this morning. Weather's not too bad. It's about 30 k's to go. There's no locks to go through today, so it won't hold us up at all. Should be a nice day cruising. Very peaceful on the river this morning. That's the way we'll be heading, down that way. Okay, Sunday the 20th of March, just heading off, going downstream to Morgan, about 32 or 3 kilometres, about a four-hour trip, no locks to go through. Seems to be a nice day, so let's hope it stays nice all the way there. We're leading off today, Brian and Susan following in a couple of minutes. Just come around Wilson's sandbar. The map says tail of flat on the port side, but on the starboard side we've got the big cliff edges again, which is typical of South Australia. At least we're out of the sun. We were cruising into the sun for a while. That's not very nice. Heading towards the Cadell Ferry, a fair way off yet. Turn the corner, we're now hitting a headwind, a bit bumpy. So at least we've got the sun out of our face. Just for something different, here's another cliff edge. The map doesn't give it a name, but it appears to be on a property called Western Flat. Now for a cliff edge on the other side of the river. Cadell Ferry is about a half an hour away. We had been going through a bit of a headwind, but we've turned a corner. We're back into a tailwind again now. Much more pleasant. Approaching the Cadell Ferry now. When we get to the 500 metre mark here, I'll put one long blast of the horn to alert him to it, and he should put a green light. Looks like there's no action on the ferry, so we should be pretty right to go through. Anyway, here's the horn now. There's another marker down here at 200 metres, which we'll have to stop at if he hasn't put his green light on, but
Yes, there is a green light.
is there?
Yes, I see a flash. Alright, speed up. So he's only going out of that side.
Oh, yes.
Right?
Yes, we have a green light. We'll just speed up a bit and go through there. Nice wide bit of river here. We've got about 9 k's to get to Morgan. Still a little bit of a headwind, but not as bad as it was. Like a pumping station of some sort up here. Not sure what it is, but it's quite substantial. Wouldn't just be for the town of Morgan, it must be for Morgan. Hang on. It's called the Morgan Wyalla pumping station.
Will you please go over a bit?
Bit of a headwind, making the boat bounce a little bit. Looks like there's a houseboat coming upstream at us, way down there as well. Paddle boat of some sort on our port side. On our way into Morgan. Can't quite make out the name of it. Doesn't look like a steamer. I'd say it's got a diesel engine in it, like a lot of the modern made ones have these days. Morgan's just downriver, and I see we've got a ski boat coming up at us. Comes the ski boat. I'm going to put the camera down, I'll have to hold the boat steady. It's Monday the 21st of March. We're in Morgan. Going to be a layover day today in Morgan. Nice day. Won't be very windy later though. The canal at Morgan, still under construction. It's a reproduction of the original boat. It'll be permanently moored at Morgan when finished. They do cruising up and down the river there as well. Still a little bit to go yet. Nice houses on the other side of the river there. This is still at Morgan. Look, the speedboats are just starting. There's the canally again, and just the other side of that is Spirit of the Murray. It's just loading up a heap of passengers, probably about to take off. And in the distance there you can see our little boat probably. And in the far distance you'll see Brian and Susan's boat. We're leaving in the morning, probably about 8 o'clock or so. There's the Spirit of the Murray backing out, ready to take passengers down or upstream. Not sure which way they're going to go yet. Looks like he's backing out pointing downstream, so probably going down towards Blanchetown. Going past the Drunken Fantasy. I hope it doesn't hit it. There's a Drunken Fantasy behind that branch there. There we go. Away she goes downstream. It is Tuesday, the 22nd of March. We're heading off towards Blanchetown this morning at 8:30. It's about 10 past 8 now. There's Brian and Susan's boat way down there in the distance. We have to back out. The ferry is over there. We've got to go across the ferry. So we'll have to go and blast the horn, wait for the green light, and then we're off. So we're going to stay about halfway. It's about 46 kilometres down to Blanchetown. We'll probably stop about halfway. About 3 hours cruising this morning and get to Blanchetown tomorrow. Blanchetown is the last lock to go through. Very quiet today. It's supposed to come up very windy later. Hopefully we're all tied up by the time that happens. Tuesday the 22nd of March. Just leaving... What is it? What town is it we're leaving? Morgan. Just leaving Morgan, heading towards Blanchetown. We'll get there halfway today, camp on a beach somewhere hopefully, and we'll get into Blanchetown tomorrow. Blanchetown is our last lock, which will be good. So far it's a good day. Brian and Susan are leading off today. There's their little boat in front. A few houses along the river here. Very nice spot. It's actually an area called Brenda Park. We passed some quite beautiful houses further back. Didn't get a chance to video those, but nice stretch of the river this. Quite a few holiday homes I'd say along the beach, along the edge rather. Ryan and Susan's boat just up ahead. The water's getting a little bit lumpy now. Bit of a head breeze. The tree house up here on the corner. Looks like a bit of a converted garden shed. It's famous on the river now. It's a bit of a landmark. Quite often see that on Murray River trips of people on YouTube. Looks like it's been very well done. Big drop to the water if you wanted to have a bit of a dive off it though. Still heading down toward Blanchetown, just passing 312 marker to the mouth. Not sure what this cliff edge is called.
Corner, I'd say, desperately trying to build a retaining wall to stop that.
There's a Pelican Point up ahead on the starboard side, the river going around to the right. And just over here we have a statue of a pelican and a houseboat just with its own little mooring going up there. Not sure what the pelican's name is, might be Mr. Percival maybe. There he is, our pelican. This is actually Pelican Point itself. Looks like they've putting some retaining walls around there. It's getting worn away a bit. I think last time we come through, that statue of the pelican was actually out here on the point. But I'd say the erosion's been wearing it away and they're now putting in a retaining wall. There's a couple of blokes down in the water before doing something. Cliff edge seems to go for a fair way. Very deep over on the port side, about 15 metres deep over there. Boat's getting pushed around a bit by the waves now. Bit of a headwind. You hear the thumping of the water against the front of the boat. Probably only about an hour away from our camp tonight, assuming we can find somewhere nice out of the wind. It's calm at the moment, but we're protected where we are. I'm hoping where the beach is, it's also protected from the wind, but we'll wait and see how we go. barge of some sort there. Quite a big vessel for this part of the river. Mine just tells me 302 kilometres to the mouth of the Murray. And like to look at that sky out there. Looks like we're going to be driving into a bit of weather later. Hopefully we're tied up before it hits us. Finding it very difficult to get a good campsite heading down to Blanchetown. It's about 12:30. Blanchetown's only about 2 hours away, so we've decided due to the lack of campsites we might just make a dash for Blanchetown and stay there the night. We had planned to take 2 days to get there, but unless a site is found soon we'll just motor all the way down there and stay there the night. Still got a bit of a headwind, but I think that rain was threatening earlier, may have gone. We still might get some at Blanchetown. See how we go. Okay, 2:30, Blanchetown. Just starting to rain. Just got tied up just in time. That's the bridge way down there. Lock's just on the other side, but it's way too wet and windy to go through the lock today. We'll go through first thing in the morning. In the meantime, here's a nice grassy area to tie up and settle in for the evening. That's the Murray Princess. Just come through the lock, under the bridge, heading straight for us. I hope it turns. I think it's going to turn around in the river. It's got a tender the other side of it, pushing the back of it around. And us, we're going to park just downstream from us, so they can go back through the lock at 8:30 in the morning. We were told we had to let it have right of way in the morning. We probably won't get through the lock until 9 o'clock. We'll wait for it to go through first. Not sure how they're going to park over there. Must do a nose in type park. Moving very slowly anyway. Yeah, looks like they're going to nose in near their willow tree. Fair way from Brian and Susan's boat, so yeah, they should be safe enough. Wednesday the 23rd of March, just after 8 o'clock in the morning. We'll be going through the lock probably about 9ish. Just going to go the other side of the lock and stop today. We've got to wait for that big boat over there, the Murray Princess, to go through the lock. It's going to take about 3/4 an hour or so. Takes a long time to get in, a long time to get out for some reason. All the houseboats seem to be on the other side of the river, at the marina over there. And the mighty Drunken Fantasy is just over here to the right. There it is. See the cabin girl through the window having a coffee. It is Thursday, the 24th of March. We've been going exactly for 3 weeks since we left Wentworth. Taking off this morning about 8 o'clock, going down to Swan today. Stay there overnight. That picture in the distance, that's the lock, with the bridge not far behind it. The lock part itself is over here. That's where you go through with the boat. This is Blanchetown. We'll be in Swan about lunchtime, about 28 k's down, not very far. Okay, it's Thursday, the 28th of March. Hang on, I'll check that date. Correction, Thursday, 24th of March. It's been 3 weeks since we left Wentworth, and we've probably got maybe 1.5 to 2 weeks to go. We're just leaving Blanchetown, heading towards Swan about 28 kilometres today. No wind so far, should be a good day's travelling. See how we go. Just turned the corner in a bit of a headwind, and it's getting pretty lumpy again. Wind today about 13 kilometres an hour, which is a lot better than the 33 we had the other day. It'll probably be lumpy all the way to Swan I'd say. A lot of holiday homes up on the starboard side, all the way out of town. I think as far as the Adelaide goes, we're only like an hour and a half out of Adelaide by road, so a lot of these be holiday homes from the Adelaide wealthy. Paddle wheeler over there, not sure what it's called, it's sort of in the shadows, I can't get a good look at it, but definitely not a steamer. It's probably got a little diesel motor like a lot of them have. Still a bit of wind. The water's not quite as choppy as it was. We're about to turn a corner to the port side, and we might be turning back into the wind, so we'll get a few more bumps along the way. Just past the 270 mark to the mouth of the Murray. Still very lumpy. We're probably going to be like this all the way to Swan We've lost about 1 kilometre an hour due to the lack of current and strong headwind, but so we're averaging about 7k an hour now. We've been used to travelling about over 8.2, 8.3 average, but that's probably the way it's going to be now all the way down to Wellington. Not much current, and we'll probably have a lot of headwind. We've come about 12 kilometres since leaving Blanchetown. The river's calmed down a little bit, it's still a little bit lumpy. Big straight stretch of river in front of us there. Very quiet on the river today. We haven't passed one boat yet. But it is a Thursday, middle of the week. Let's hope Swan isn't too crowded. We have a good park there. About halfway to Swan quite a big cliff edge coming up here, turning around to the port side. I thought it might have been the start of Big Bend, but Big Bend doesn't start till after Swan It's very impressive, a bit like this, but it just goes on forever. closer to the cliff edge now. May not come out, but there's a lot of corellas and the trees on the left hand side
Give
there.
a big blast to your horn, you'll set all those birds off. We can get a real spectacular photo.
Anyway, you'll see a lot of holes in that cliff edge there. When we come through in 2018, those corellas were nesting in those holes, the cliff edge. Flip the horn again and see if I can get those corellas to come out of the trees. No, they're not interested in coming out of the trees. They'll sit there. Probably seen a few boats before. A cruiser of some sort coming right at us. I'm hoping he's going to turn in a minute.
Go over. So all that bloody
He doesn't seem to want to turn for some reason, forcing his way over. He's on the wrong side of the river, so I don't know where he got his licence. Swan Reach should be just around this corner somewhere. About a kilometre to go. Been a bit of a bumpy ride in patches. Starting to smooth out a bit now, so hopefully there's not much wind there when we moor up. Just coming into Swan Reach down there. We can just see the ferry there on the starboard side, and I think the houseboat moorings is just below the ferry according to the map. Anyway, we'll get further down to within 200 metres and blast the horn, get his attraction. Once we get the green light, we'll go across. Okay, 12:10 on the 24th of March. Just reached Swan Reach. Tied up here. Boat ramp's just over there. Boat just coming in now, but look at it. We're tied up between the boat ramp and this little willow tree. Not a bad spot out of the wind. Cafe's just up the hill. Go up there for a bit of a coffee later and maybe some lunch. And the pub's apparently nested in behind the cafe, so we might even go there tonight for tea. It's Friday, the 25th of March, Swan Reach, about 10 to 8 in the morning. Heading off in about 15-20 minutes or so. So far, nice calm day. Had a nice tea up at the pub last night. All good. Calm waters, bit of a change. No doubt that'll come up choppy later on.